Hi everyone, Mrs. Anderson here. This is our last day on figurative language. So let's do a quick review. So let's think about some of these words that we've already talked about. What is a simile? Remember, that's comparing two things with the words like or as. A metaphor, that's also comparing two things, but this time you're saying that you are something or something is something. Okay, alliteration, that's that tongue twister. Alex the alligator ate apples at in the afternoon. Onomatopoeia. Remember what that is? Sound words, boom, pop, crash. How about personification? Hopefully you're thinking about when you give person like a non-live thing live traits. So think of the movie like Cars, where they make the cars talk and they kind of bring those objects that aren't really human objects, they make them more human. And then yesterday, Ms. Zhang told you about a hyperbole. That's an exaggerated statement where you say, I'm so hungry I could eat a whole elephant. All right, today we are going to talk about one final thing. And I have to say, I think this is the trickiest type of figurative language, and it's called an idiom. And these idioms are phrases that don't really mean what they say. And they're these interesting ways that authors will use to describe things. And sometimes it can get tricky to wade through what the author actually means. So today we're going to tell what an idiom is, and then you'll be able to work with some idioms in a worksheet. Okay, so let's start with what an idiom is. It's an expression or a saying that means something other than it sounds. So it's these phrases that you might have heard people say, and I know we go through these, I bet there's some of these phrases you've heard people say, and they don't actually mean what they're saying. So let me give you some examples of what I mean. So let's look at this first one right here. Have you ever heard someone say break a leg? They don't actually mean break someone's leg. What they mean is do a good job. So if you are going on stage to do a performance, someone might say break a leg, which means try your very best and good luck to do the best job you can do. All right, here's another one I wonder if you've heard. It's raining cats and dogs out there. It's not really raining cats and dogs. It just means that it's raining really hard. Have you ever been called a couch potato? A couch potato is someone who sits on a couch for a long time. It's not a potato that they put on a couch. Have you ever heard someone say, like, I know I've said this to my class, oh, time flies. It doesn't mean that the time is actually flying in the air. It just means that the time went by really, really fast. How about this next one? Have you ever heard someone say, I'm feeling under the weather? Doesn't mean I'm actually underneath a weather cloud. It means I'm not feeling very well. And then here's one I say to my kids a lot. I'll say, hold your horses. They don't have horses to hold, but what I mean is hold on, wait. I'll be with you in a second. So that's what I mean about an idiom. They're these phrases or these sayings that people will say that don't make a lot of sense if you take them literally. But go way back to our beginning where we talked about figurative language is not, you don't mean what you're saying. It's kind of fancier ways to say things. All right, so I'm going to skip here. Here's another one. That was a piece of cake. Doesn't mean that it was that you have a piece of cake. It means that was easy. I'm feeling blue. I'm not actually feeling like the color blue. I'm feeling sad. Oh, I let the cat out of the bag. This is what people say when they surprise you with something or they accidentally spilled a secret. Okay, so I want you to go ahead and open to your idioms page, and it looks like this. And I'm going to go over what this poem actually means because this poem is kind of confusing. So we're going to go over it line by line, okay? And I'm actually going to highlight the idioms as we read them. And if you want to go back and highlight the idioms, you can do that too. Okay, so it starts, wouldn't you be tickled pink? Okay, the idiom here is tickled pink. And what that means is, wouldn't you be excited or thrilled? Wouldn't you be tickled pink with everything except the sink? Here's what the sentence means. Wouldn't you be excited about pretty much everything? So, everything except the sink, that's just meaning most everything in the world. Here's a tricky one. But all that glitters isn't gold. Okay, here's what the author means. Gold, even though it looks fancy, like where gold looks fancy, if you're looking at it with sparkly, it might not be fancy on the inside. Okay, so sometimes things look better. Like, have you ever heard the grass is greener? What they mean is it might look pretty fancy, but it's not necessarily. So don't get left out in the cold. Don't get left behind. You can't have cake and eat it too. You can't have one and the other. Sometimes you have to make a choice. Or bite off more than you can chew, which means take on too much work. It's easy come and easy go. This just kind of means um, whatever, go with the flow. So hold your tongue. Don't say everything that you're thinking. Think before you speak, or you'll eat crow. That's kind of a way of saying you'll be in trouble. So you can pause the video if you want to highlight those idioms or underline those idioms. And then you're going to go, and there's 2 pages here. So I'm showing you the pages, and you're going to use each idiom in a sentence. Okay, and then you're going to tell what the sentence means. And I'm going to help you with this. I'm actually going to tell you what each one means. So if you want to go back and pause and then write, you can do that, or you can go through the whole thing on your own. Okay, so under the weather means you are sick. Okay, so I'm going to write sick here, and you can go back and pause. So, can you think of a sentence about being under the weather? Okay, this next one, down to earth. This is kind of a tricky one. It just kind of means that you are a regular person, you're easygoing. Can you think of someone who's kind of just easygoing, not too hard to get along with? Eat your words. That means if you say something, like people will say, eat your words, which means take back what you said. So a good sentence for this might be, I said a mean thing to my brother, and my mom said, eat my words. I have to take back what I said. Okay, hanging out means you're chilling. Um, that's a big step. You're taking a risk. You're doing something you've never done before, kind of like this distant learning. Feeling blue, we talked about that one means feeling sad. And then this final one is I'm sitting on top of the world. I'm feeling pretty good. So think of something you're feeling pretty good about. All right, give it a shot. All right, we'll see you back here tomorrow.